You are tuned in to a fireside chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie. You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, and welcome to a fireside chat with Zany Mystic. Tonight, my guest is David Sereda. David and several others had a life-changing experience in the late 60s upon witnessing a UFO hover for over 20 minutes and then visibly blink out. He directed and moderates the outstanding film titled Dan Aykroyd Unplugged, The Case for UFOs. He's made many other notable films on this subject, including The Case for NASA UFOs. An avid researcher, scientist, artist, photographer, and director, he is opening the door to our perceptions about the existence of UFOs, free energy, alternative energy, and future-thinking paradigms on consciousness. You can find David's blog at www.davidsereda.blogspot.com, and he's on www.lightstreamtechnologies.com, and of course, on Facebook. So let's welcome him to the show now. Excuse me. Hi, David. How are you?
Hi, Lance. Glad you're hanging in there with your teeth.
Yes. Well, we won't mention those nasty teeth. They're gone now. What's really funny, I have to tell you this. I was just lighting some candles and the fire in the fireplace so I could have a real fireside chat. And I was lighting a candle on the ledge, and there was the impression of my teeth that they had taken it staring back at me, and it startled the heck out of me. So I was kind of scared for a moment, but I'm all right now. I'm getting over it.
That's good.
Well, you know, I saw your Dan Aykroyd Unplugged a long time ago, and it was an amazing film. I just loved it. And, you know, I would never have guessed, of course I like Dan Aykroyd as an actor, a comedian. I never knew he had such a brilliant mind and that he's so knowledgeable on the subject of UFOs as well. And you were a great interviewer. It's a terrific film.
Yeah, he's more, to me, he's the most brilliant person in Hollywood on the subject, and he needs to spend a lot more time with Steven Spielberg, whom he knows well. And you know, it's really frustrating in Hollywood. You know, what sells today is mostly violence in UFOs, and it's really like the Battle of 42, for example. The real truth is much further away from the violence. And in fact, when the Battle of 42 happened and everyone was told to stay indoors because we had literally extraterrestrial intruders, initially it was thought that it was the Japanese, and then we started firing, mortar shell rounds at it and all kinds of different munitions, 1,800 rounds, and they never fired back at us once. Not once did they attack Los Angeles. So it's really hilarious to me, this new film, The Battle of L.A., that the aliens were coming here to attack us. And it's just, unfortunately, in the early days, what Spielberg was doing with Close Encounters and E.T. was probably closer to a lot of the truth. Not that they're all angels out there.
Right.
There are a lot of different personalities in extraterrestrials, but with that particular case and what I know about Roswell is they never actually tried to attack us. It was us, our fear of them, that was really ballistic.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And in fact, I had Dr. Greer on not too long ago, and of course, he's well known for his belief that that the ETs that they're trying to contact are positive, and that eventually we will get to have that experience when we're able to raise our consciousness to the point where we're not killing each other and creating weapons of mass destruction that don't exist.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it hard for contact. I mean, I've done a number of very advanced high-technology transitions to the Palladian group of ETs, whom, when I first saw that UFO in Berkeley in 1968, when I was 7 years old, in the following nights, they appeared to me at nighttime behind sleep, and they were Pleiadian.
Wow.
And I didn't even know what that star system was. I was just shown it, and when I used to play hide-and-go-seek and count to 100 where my friends were hiding in San Francisco, I was looking at the Pleiades, and I didn't even know the name of it.
Wow.
So they showed me how their shifts work. They were totally human-looking, but much more energetic than we are vibrationally, and obviously technologically a lot more advanced. And since then, my fascination with that star system has grown, and my ability to build technology has grown, and I have actually made contact with them several times. Even actually a couple of nights ago, I put on Facebook that we sent out a transmission repeatedly asking them for please help the Japanese, and we sold the Japanese this nuclear technology, and they don't know how to deal with this on their own. And we know from even, in fact, CNN this year, finally the story broke on Larry King, that all these Air Force officers came forward and testified that they had witnessed in a nuclear missile silo, they had witnessed UFOs actually taking over controls of the missiles and turning them on and turning them off and appearing above the plant. And there have been many incidences of UFOs visiting nuclear power plants in general. And if you really study the cases, there are a number of nuclear power plants in America amongst the 110 nuclear reactors we used to have that are so unstable that there's probably radiation detected by these saucers, and they're very concerned. So, that being, evident that they have that ability, I sent out this transmission, and every time we've done this, here at where I do the transmissions with this, it's unlike any other radio transmitter you can imagine. There's no way can give away this secret. We actually tuned it to the vibration of the Pleiades star system.
Wow.
It's a harmonic. It's not a frequency.
Right.
And every time we've done it, we've got an answer. And in the middle of the wee hours of the morning after the transmission and the storm I created on Facebook, with hundreds of responses and mostly people being very excited, I heard a robotic voice saying they did not comply with natural law. And meaning not just the Japanese, but all of us, that we didn't comply with the oceans and the way we're treating the environment, and certainly putting nuclear power plants right on the coast.
My God! Yeah.
And I thought, is that the karmic reason this happened? Because there's a lot of other people in the world that have done equally or more damage to the environment than they have.
Right.
And there are people who got mad on Facebook and said it's because they slaughtered 25,000 whales a year in the dolphin massacre. But still, the Canadians slaughter hundreds of thousands of seals up there every year. So, I said, please, this is the best opportunity, I said in the transmission, for you to show us who you are and to have full disclosure. And actually, we cannot recover from this radiation. Japan will not recover. The radiation is already making the food radioactive. Everybody's in denial about the dangers of radioactivity, which is an area I worked in for over 15 years with several Nobel Prize-winning scientists. And I'm very knowledgeable about nuclear sciences and radioactivity and different types of power plants. So the next morning, after we sent the transmission out electronically repeatedly, just asking for their help, I just got this female voice. This is audible. It's not, something I psychically intuit. I can hear it. And I hear this woman this time, and she's just saying, I know, with this compassionate mother voice. And it's just basically the Earth is to go through. This is just, it's not even the beginning because it's already been happening. We've had several tsunamis in the last, decade, and it's getting worse and worse, with all the different Earth changes. And the Earth is going to go through some very severe changes coming into the end of 2012. And this is certainly, I've been studying the pole shift, and I've gone public with data on that. And there is a good documentary on PBS Nova called The Magnetic Storm, where they pretty much prove to you in the end that the pole shifting has already started. Now, NASA gets data on the pole shift from Canadian geologist Larry Newitt, who goes up and collects data on the actual position of the North Magnetic Pole.
Huh.
And this is really interesting because in the media all over the world was reporting that, oh, it's normal, the pole drifts, so many kilometers or miles a year, and we just had to adjust the runways because we were lazy and we didn't do it on time. But that's not the truth. The truth is that in the early 2000s, Larry suddenly noticed that the natural drift rate of magnetic north went from 10 kilometers a year, which is about 6.6 miles per year, to suddenly to 40-plus kilometers a year.
Hmm.
And I wrote him a couple weeks ago because NASA's data was almost 8 years old from where he knew it. And I said, where is it at today? And it has consistently remained between 40 and 55 kilometers a year drift rate.
Uh-huh.
But ferromagnetic storm shows us that we're already in the middle of a magnetic pole shift, and there's a lot of opposite magnetism, giant bubbles of opposite magnetism forming on the North and South Pole right now.
Oh, wow.
And that film was made in 2003, so that's an old film at this point.
Huh.
2007, I think it was made. I'm not sure exactly. So what happens next is that you start getting magnetic anomalies appearing on people's compasses closer and closer to the equator, and that's a sign that the actual magnetic pole shift is imminent. And that can still take hundreds of years or longer to actually have a complete shift. But here's the scary part. Here's what happens in a lab. If I broadcast through a radio transmitter the NASA sound of the sun, which is the true harmonic vibration of the sun recorded by NASA, and I hold a magnet at a distance from that transmitter, the magnet shakes, it vibrates.
Okay.
And then if I move the position of the transmitter, the magnetic field, the magnet will move towards it. And so the Earth's magnetic field has already shifted about 4 degrees in the last 10 years. And each degree is 167 miles of actual movement on the pole.
Wow.
So because the magnetic field is now so far ahead, what I'm saying is the physical Earth will move to catch up to it very, very suddenly.
Right.
And the earthquake in Japan, the data says that Japan physically moved 8 feet. So if we even moved 1 degree of pole shift physically, suddenly, 1 degree, that's 67 miles of physical movement.
Wow.
See how devastating that would be for tsunamis on the Pacific.
Oh, absolutely.
The Asian Pacific and the Ring of Fire zone. So
oh, yeah. No question about it.
it'd be utterly devastating, and that's what concerns me that's coming up. And the reason it concerns me is, let me go back. I correct my data both scientifically but also through global consciousness phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
And in my film, The Voice and Quantum Communication, those are 2 films where we really look at the power of the mind and global consciousness and what quantum physics and scientists and researchers at major American and European universities and Russian universities are doing in that field.
Mm-hmm.
It's utterly phenomenal if people really knew if they had actually seen these films. But anyway, I start getting all these emails when I do radio shows from people who have no contact with each other, and they're all dreaming about giant tsunamis hitting the west coast of the United States or California.
Wow.
And over a year ago, I had an incredible dream the Wednesday night going into Thursday before the Haiti earthquake struck in January, just over a year ago. And that same night, a guest in our house woke up, and she was staying in a little casita guest house on the property here. She had the same dream the same night, and in the dream, it's summertime, and there are people swimming in the water, in Southern California, and I see this 100-foot wave coming, and I see a man and his son just disappear into the wave, and behind it there's a 2,000-foot wave roaring towards California, and I fly above California, and it crashes over the coastal mountains, and it's heading towards Arizona.
Oh, my God.
That's the dream. Now, that night, my friend had the same dream, but she went higher up in the air, and she actually saw Florida, the East Coast and all the way up the North Coast. That this thing was a map.
Free energy, alternative energy, and future-thinking paradigms on consciousness. You can find David's blog at www.davidsereda.blogspot.com, and he's on www.Lightstream Technology Case for UFOs. He's made many other notable films on this subject, including The Case for NASA UFOs. An avid researcher, scientist, artist, photographer, and director, he is opening the door to our perceptions about the existence of UFOs. David and several others had a life-changing experience in the late 60s upon witnessing a UFO hover for over 20 minutes and then visibly blink out. He directed and moderates the outstanding film titled Dan Aykroyd Unplugged.
You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, and welcome to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. Tonight, my guest is David Sereda.
You are tuned in to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie.